Hi everyone, so I'm here to make my 3-week breastfeeding update. As most of you know, we had some trouble starting to breastfeed because he didn't want to latch on, and Logan just had a very small bite or suction, or however you want to call it. He has this very small mouth when latching on, and we substituted the formula in the first week or the first few days, and then he was breastfed every 3 hours with a nipple shield because my nipples were too flat according to my postpartum nurse. And ever since the postpartum nurse left, Logan has not been gaining weight. So he gained, he was 3615 grams at birth. Then he dropped to 3350. So he dropped like almost 200 grams. And then he gained a couple of days up to like 3480. Yeah. And the last day my postpartum nurse was here, he dropped to 3440. And then a week later, he was checked by the youth and family person. No, we have a syndrome that checks on your children from 0 to 4 months from 0 to 4 years every once in a while. And they give you the shots and the vaccines and whatnot. And they also check baby's weight. And they checked him at 2 weeks, and he was still the same weight as he was at 8 days old. So she told me to make sure he gets all his feedings and not let him sleep through the night anymore, to make sure he eats every 3 hours during the night as well. And then she would check him on Monday, and on Monday he still weighed the exact same. He actually weighed a little bit less. I think he weighed like 3420, so he lost like 20 grams. And then the consultant from the youth and family organization told us to just, hold on, and she would check on him again on Thursday, which is today. And I did not want to wait another couple of days just to hope he's gaining weight. Obviously, if he hasn't gained any weight in like 10 days, he isn't going to gain weight the next 4 days either, unless you change something. So I called with a lot of lactation consultants, and I asked for a lot of information. I'm sorry, I'm pushing the camera. And the problem was that the lactation consultant offered by my postpartum organization, so the one that had the postpartum nurse here, was on vacation. And the people that were backing her clients up, or were her backup system for her clients, didn't want to come to my town, I guess, because they just live too far away. We do live in a very spread thin province, so I could get that. So it took me a while to find a lactation consultant that actually wanted to come to my house. So in the meantime, I just talked to a lactation consultant that could give me some information over the phone, and the one I talked to on Monday recommended to weigh him, then feed him, then weigh him again, and the difference between the first weigh and the second weigh was how much milk he got. And if he got less than 100 grams, I should substitute up to 100 grams. And after that, I should pump. Problem with that was Logan feeds for about an hour. Then I weighed him again, and usually he only gained like 30 or 40 grams. So I had to substitute with 60 to 70 grams of either breast milk or formula, and then I had to still pump for at least an hour, according to her, because I should be pumping as long as Logan was breastfeeding. And that didn't work. That is extremely time consuming, because that means that if you need to feed every 3 hours, I only had like 45 minutes, like an hour of time between pumping and his next feed. So I would be like weighing him, breastfeeding him, weighing him, substitute feeding him, pump him, have a 45-minute break, weigh him, breastfeed him, weigh him. And that's kind of how it went. But during the day it's doable, but during the night it's killing, because that meant I only slept for like 45 minutes, and then I had to be awake for 2.5 hours, or 2 hours and 15 minutes, something like that. And then I had to sleep again for 45 minutes, which means that the first 2 nights I did this, I slept for like maybe 3 hours. That's nothing. That's like killing. And I couldn't sleep like during the day either, because there just wasn't any time. So on Wednesday, so yesterday, I called another lactation consultant that could actually come to our home and watch how I latched him on and how I was pumping and all that kind of stuff. And she came this morning, and she and I put up a schedule of how we're going to do it and how we're going to make Logan gain weight, and how we're going to up my milk supply. Because I figured my milk supply was very low, because no matter how much I pumped, I would never pump enough to substitute him, let alone to actually fulfill a complete meal for him. So she watched me latch him on with the nipple shield, and the first thing, he like took a bite, and the first thing she said was, or he latched on, or whatever you want to say it. And the first thing she said was, "You don't need the nipple shield. First of all, his mouth is open enough for you to work with him on actually just breastfeeding without the nipple shield." So we tried like 3 or 4 times latching him on without the nipple shield, and it worked perfectly. And then she just watched him, how he swallowed, or how his mouth movements were. And he had a lot of tiny movements, which means he was trying to get the milk, but it wasn't coming because he wasn't swallowing, he wasn't taking any big suctions or swallows or anything like that. So she said he does get some milk, but not nearly enough. Like, he has to really work hard for it, which makes it very ineffective. You know, he works really hard, and he basically already burned every calorie he's gaining from working that hard for the milk. So she told me that it probably is my milk supply. My boobs are very soft, they're not filled with milk. There is milk coming out, but not nearly enough for him. So she set up a schedule with me, and basically what she told me is for the next couple of days, so at least until like Monday or Tuesday, we have to bottle feed him, whether that's with formula or pumped breast milk, that's up to us, or whatever we have. If you don't have breast milk, then we have to formula feed him every 3 hours. And I have to pump every 2 to 3 hours. So what I'm going to do right now is, instead of breastfeeding him and then substituting him with formula or breast milk and then pumping, I'm just going to give him a bottle and pump. So, and then only 3 times a day. So during like 6, 7 in the morning, around 10 around noon, I'm gonna latch him on again, and then around 10 at night, I'm gonna latch him on again. And the rest of the feedings, I'm just gonna bottle feed him and pump. And I need to have a different pump, because right now I have the Medela swing, the one-sided. And in order to get your milk production up, I need the Medela Symphony 2-sided. That will save you a lot of time, and it will actually help your milk production. So she told me how to do that, and in case my milk supply has not gone up by Monday, I could actually get medicine to help me gain more milk. And until then, this is a better schedule than only having 45 minutes between being done with pumping and having to start breastfeeding again. Because right now all I have to do is make a bottle, and whether it's already pumped from my last session or I have to formula feed him. I'm not too keen on actually giving him formula, but at this point I cannot just, I'm not going to get the rest to help my milk supply by the old schedule, like the breastfeeding, extra feeding, pumping schedule. That's just way too time consuming. I'm not resting enough. I'm not being able to do anything around in the house, let alone, you know, it's not going to help my milk production if I barely get any sleep during the day or during the night. So I feel better about this schedule where I have more time to actually do something in the house, and actually like do laundry and stuff like that. And knowing that he's going to be fine and he's going to gain weight and my milk production is going to get better. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pick up a digital scale, because right now we have a baby scale that's mechanical, so you have to like work with a little weight, which is very inaccurate, or it's like, it goes by 10 grams per like setting, I guess. So you never really know how much he is gaining or how much he actually drank, because as soon as he moves, the entire scale just goes, whoa, it just goes all over the place. So I'm gonna get a digital scale, and I'm gonna get the Medela Symphony pump again, because I had one in the first week postpartum, and try to get more milk for the little man. It does leave me a little bit of a bittersweet taste, because the postpartum nurse I had the first 8 days, She's the one who recommended the nipple shields from day one. Like we barely even tried without the nipple shield. And because she said my nipples were just too flat. Which obviously they aren't, because he lashed like a pro today. And she also never told me that if you feed with a nipple shield, you have to pump afterwards. If she would have told me that, I would have done that, because I had the pump right there. And I just never used it anymore because it worked fine with breastfeeding him. If she would have told me that I needed to like pump in order to make sure my milk production was at least growing and sustaining, I would have done that. And she never mentioned that, and she should have. So that's kind of like, I was so happy she was there, and I thought she was so nice and so helpful, and now I find she wasn't really that helpful, and she actually was very unhelpful with breastfeeding. And that's basically it for the breastfeeding update. I did not think it was going to be this hard breastfeeding Logan, but it is. But I'm glad at least we're working on it, and he is very fulfilled right now because he's like in a milk coma from the bottle, so that's good. And that's basically it for this video. If you have any questions, then leave them down below, and if not, then I will probably talk to you guys tomorrow, I guess, for his 3-week update, because I never made his 2-week update because I was so busy breastfeeding him and pumping him, and oh my goodness, it was horrible. I hear my son. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye everyone.